Hey ladies, welcome to episode 14 of the Health, Life, and More podcast for women. Today, I want to talk about what you're saying to yourself about yourself and the impact that has not just on you, but those around you. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Health, Life, and More for Women podcast with certified health and life coach, mom of four, and just all-around lover of all things 80s, your host, Jennifer D'Amato. Buckle in, let's get started. Hey ladies, I'm really excited about this topic today. It's something I'm really passionate about teaching my clients about, talking to other women about, talking to my daughters about. It's this idea of what we say about ourselves to ourselves. Now, you might think, well, I don't really say anything to myself. I'm not like you, Jen. You talk to yourself all the time, except there are things we are saying to ourselves. Whether we say them out loud or not, we're definitely saying them and believing these things to be true about ourselves. Now, the idea for this conversation actually came up in a really interesting way. I was in a church service at my church, and the pastor who was speaking that day, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's where I was sitting or just was really in tune. I'm not sure. But when he was speaking, I could hear him in front, but then what was happening is I could hear his echo coming from behind me. Right. So I don't really know a whole lot, guys. I'm going to be really honest, ladies. I had to do a little bit of research into terminology, and I am learning some of these sound things because of the podcast, this idea of echo and reverb. So let me share with you a little bit about what was happening in that room and what I've learned. So he was speaking, it was bouncing off the back wall, which is an echo, right? We can all understand that there was this piece coming back. A fragment, a sound from the front bouncing off the back wall and coming again forward. I was actually hearing both. And this is what happens to me. I've shared it before that these ideas just come to me. And as this was happening and I'm listening to the words that he's speaking, I'm also being affected by the echo. I'm hearing it again. Is that amazing? Think about that for a minute. Now, this idea of reverb is different. So an echo bounces off. It's like that first sound reflected back, that one that I heard. A reverb, so echoes can turn into reverb as it's reflected off a second, a third, and a fourth surface. Anyone out there listening who does sound engineering is probably completely cringing at my description, but this is about as layman as it can get and just as simplified as I could understand it. Echo, first sound reflected. An echo can turn into a reverb as it's reflected off a second, third, and fourth surface. So what I was hearing in that moment in that service was an echo. And again, it built this idea, this conversation that I've created right here about our own echo. We all have an echo. We all have things that we say about ourselves to ourselves. We have good things. Oh, I'm a really great mom. We have bad things. Well, I'm a pretty terrible wife. We have things we're saying about ourselves to ourselves all the time. And this idea of the echo, that what we put out is coming back to us. What we believe to be true about ourselves is coming back. It's infiltrating our thoughts. It's actually even distracting us from what we really need to hear. Do you get that image? I'm listening to the words being spoken to me, but I'm so distracted by these past words. The echo is the words that were already spoken, and they're distracting me from the new words I need to be hearing. That happens to us in real time, in real life, ladies. It's happening to us all the time, is these thoughts we've had about ourselves, the things we've said to ourselves. We can't hear the new words, the uplifting ones, because we're still struggling with the echo. Are you following me? Is that making sense? All right, I'm going to go a little further. So that echo doesn't sound exactly like the speaker's voice, right? Again, I'm putting myself back in that room and I can hear my pastor speaking and I can hear the echo again coming back at me, but it doesn't sound exactly like his voice, right? It's that reflected sound. So it sounds like him, but not exactly like him. Isn't that true for the way we hear our own thoughts? Whose voice is that? Is that me? Am I the one saying those things? Because it doesn't really sound like something I would say. It doesn't sound like something I want to believe. But at some point, I've said that about myself and I'm still carrying it with me. Maybe I want to be like, well, it doesn't really sound like me. So maybe it was my mom who said that. It was my mother-in-law. It was that friend who I'm not friends with anymore. It was someone I don't even know, a stranger on the internet said those things. It really can't be my voice. But the echo is us. The echo belongs to our thoughts, to the things that we've said. First, we need to acknowledge that that echo belongs to us. So if the echo belongs to us, if it is our voice, if it is our thoughts, then who has control over the echo? Who has the power to change those words? It's all us. It's all us. Now let's jump back into this idea, this concept of reverb. When I shared this idea, this concept with my husband, I love that he always makes me laugh. I hope you have someone in your life like that. He's like, so what are you talking about? The idea of verbing again? Like, I seriously needed that laugh because this topic is so heavy on my heart. I needed someone to just lighten the mood. So shout out to the hubby for a very dad joke, reverb. Okay, but that's not what reverbing, we're not verbing again. This idea that reverb, okay, so we have the echo coming back. It's just that one surface back. So how I'm using that, of course, is it's coming back and we're hearing it. The words we speak come back to us. Reverb, though, means the echo is reflected off of a second surface, a third surface, a fourth surface. And when I understood this concept, when I did my research into what reverb was, as soon as I read the other surfaces, second, third, fourth, I pictured each of my daughters and about fell on the floor. I saw their faces as those surfaces, that the echo, the words I'm speaking about myself to myself, if reverb exists, it's not just something I hear back. It's something I'm reflecting, I'm projecting onto them. That's heavy. That's heavy to know that the thoughts I have about myself affect my daughters. They affect those closest to me. They affect those around me. I would say they reflect off my spouse. He's felt that before. We've had that discussion. How I'm feeling directly about myself, he has felt that weight. We were discussing the episode in number 12. I was talking to you. If you haven't listened to it yet, I was talking about, was college a waste of time? And as a stay-at-home mom, how that affected me and the weight of that I carried and the things I said about myself and my worth and my value. You know, we discussed that episode and he's like, you know, my perspective is different because he felt the weight of it. The echo, the words I was saying, how I felt about myself, he was the reverb. He was getting that. It was reflecting on to him. So even our spouse, again, anyone close to us can be affected by the echo as it reverbs and bounces off these other surfaces. Now, reverb is not supposed to be a negative. It's not supposed to be a bad thing. So reverb, from my understanding, is used to make the sound fuller, right? Okay, we want it to fill the space so you can adjust the reverb that you have in any audio. I think about that, though, in this context. What am I filling the space with? I think how many times I said the words out loud, I'm fat. And my daughters heard that. How many times I said, oh, I have no self-control when it comes to food. And they heard that. What am I filling the space with? I wanted to believe that there was only an echo, that it was only me, affected by me. There's weight in that. That's heavy. That's hard to deal with, hearing your own thoughts. But when we understand that it's not even just the echo, that there's a reverb, that there are other surfaces that what we say bounces off of, we have to stop. We have to stop and take a moment to actually figure out the voice of the echo and make some changes. Hey ladies, before we finish up with this podcast talking about the echo and the reverb, I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing, for your feedback, just for being present each and every week that a podcast episode is released. If you know another woman in your life who's like, gosh, they need to hear this message, this echo, this reverb, this is really speaking to the heart of a woman I know, I would be so honored if you would share this podcast with her. Let her know you love her. Let her know that you're going through the same things that she is, and this really put to words exactly how you are feeling. Now let's dive in to actually talk about how do we change the echo. So that leaves us with, how do we change or reduce the echo that we're hearing? Because if there's less echo or a different echo, it's going to affect the reverb. So, two things I highly recommend. If your echo is not serving you, if your echo is hurting you, and if your echo is turning into a reverb that's affecting those around you, the first thing for echo, they say, is you need more padding. So I'm recording this podcast in my closet, and I'm surrounded by my clothes. I do have one area that has sheets for our bed. There's some pillows in here. As you know, there's some cushioning under my tushy because I'm sitting on the floor. And it reduces the echo. So the first thing I suggest is, let's look at your surroundings. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Who is around you? Are they giving you the cushion and the padding and the comfort that you need? Or is it just wide open and affecting the thoughts you have about yourself? Creating this echo of a mess of thoughts where you're beating yourself up and you just continually are hearing that. The first thing we need to do is look at our surroundings. What do they look like? Do you feel protected? Do you feel safe? Do you feel surrounded by those who are lifting you up? The second thing to reduce or get rid of echo is probably the simplest thing you could do. The simplest thing to change an echo, which is going to change the reverb, is to change the words that you're saying, that you're hearing in the echo. I know. I get it. That seems so simple. But the reality is, you haven't changed the words yet. You're continually hearing the same echo over and over again. You're creating this reverb that's spreading out to everyone around you because you believe the things you're saying are true. You believe you're not good enough. You believe you're not the wife you're supposed to be. You believe you're not the best mom. You believe you're fat. You believe you don't have self-control. You believe those things. So what if you changed the thoughts that changed the words that you spoke so that your echo was completely different? You have this power. You absolutely can change the thoughts. So if the thought is, I'm fat, how can you change that sentence? What if the sentence was, I accept my body where it is and I strive to improve it every day? Imagine that echo. It doesn't say that I no longer care, about my health or want to work on that. But the echo is completely different than constantly hearing, Jen, you're fat. Jen, you're fat. No, Jen, I accept this body that I have. I'm so grateful for it. And I strive to continue working to get it to a place where it's just exactly where I want it to be. That echo is totally different. That reverb is going to be different. So you have to know what the echo is, acknowledge it's your voice, and then you need to change those sentences. Does that mean you're going to automatically flip a switch and boom, oh my goodness, everything's changed? No. Very rarely do I hear that happen. But over time, hearing the echo again and again, the new echo, the new thoughts, the new way we see ourselves, the way we speak to ourselves over time, repeating that, hearing the echo again and again is going to have an impact. And it's going to have the kind of impact, the kind of reverb that you desire. You're going to be able to hear the words you want, and then you start believing the words. You have the new thoughts, and it creates a whole new track to listen to. So getting really practical, something I have my clients do is they literally will write out all the things that have been echoing in their mind. Write them all down. And then what we do is literally change the sentences to what they want them to be. And they start practicing saying those things repeatedly, day after day. Set a timer on your phone and say them again. It becomes part of their routine. They create a new echo. This is absolutely something you can do right now today. Yeah, I know that's a struggle to write those things down because we really do have to admit we've been saying them to ourselves, about ourselves, that we have to acknowledge it's been our voice. But let me tell you, there's so much power in doing that. And there's so much freedom on the other side when you create the thoughts you want to be having. Ooh, I know that was a heavy one today, but I really believe that the other side of it is going to be amazing. Thanks so much for being here today, for stepping into this conversation with me. Until next week, ladies, keep living your best life. Hey, ladies, want to connect with me outside of this podcast? Come follow along on Instagram at Jennifer_health coach for life. That's Jennifer_health coach, the number 4 life. You can also connect with me on Facebook. Just search Jennifer Coach, the number 4 life. I also want to help you take your health, both physical and mental, to the next level. I want you to feel empowered. I want you to reclaim your body's intuition. If that's for you and you're ready for support and accountability like you've never had before, then why not book a free consultation with me by visiting my website, www.healthcoachforlife.com. That's www.healthcoach4life.com/request session. I've also made it really easy by including a link in the show notes below. For any questions about the podcast or to submit a question or topic you would like discussed here, you can email me at jenniferdamatopodcast@gmail.com.